A YouTuber made this. Yep, Simon Ryan, the guy behind YouTube watch channel Escapement24, has gone and built his own Swiss watch brand. Now, when I hear the phrase YouTuber launches a watch, I usually brace myself because, let's be honest, that story doesn't always end well. But this one, the Monceau Model 1, feels different. So is it any good? Let's go find out. Hi everyone, I'm Dave and welcome back to Microbrand Watch, the place where we dig into the independent side of watchmaking, the passion projects, the design-led and the ever so slightly brave. And today's review blurs a line that we don't see crossed that often. We're talking about a reviewer who's become a watchmaker. Meet the Monceau Model 1, a 39mm hand-wound Swiss-made sports watch with 200 meters of water resistance and a sapphire front and back. This version, called Riyadh Red, is an absolute stunner. The dial has got this subtle sand-dune texture that only reveals itself in certain lights. It's flat red one moment, it's rippling deep the next. It's clean, it's crisp, and to be honest, it's much more refined than I expected from a debut watch. Before we get going though, a quick note, this watch is on loan directly from Simon at Monceau. There's no sponsorship, no affiliate links, and it's going straight back once filming's done. As always, you'll get my honest thoughts, good and bad. But if you do happen to like what you see, stick around until the end because I've got something from Simon that might help make purchasing this watch just a little bit easier. But for those of you getting some deja vu at the moment, yes, you may have heard the name Monceau before. Monceau was actually a Swiss brand in the 50s and 60s, which produced chronographs out of Lausanne. But the quartz crisis closed it down like it did to so many watchmakers. Decades later though, Simon found one of those vintage watches on eBay. He got intrigued by the name and he decided to bring it back. But rather than taking an old brand and slapping something completely new on it, he's designed something that feels like what Monceau would be making today if it had survived. It's a refreshing approach here. It's honest, it's thoughtful, and it's grounded in design rather than purely in nostalgia. And that design focus is evident straight away. The case sits beautifully on the wrist. It's 39mm wide, just 10.2mm high, including the crystal, and it's just 45mm lug to lug. It's mostly brushed, with polished bevels that catch the light beautifully. It's got that sharp-shouldered sport luxury look without just feeling like a copy of other watch brands. Inside as well, you've got the Sellita SW210-1, a hand-wound movement that keeps the profile really slim and connects nicely back to Monceau's vintage roots. And around the back, you get a sapphire exhibition caseback, which shows this movement in all its glory, and it is glorious. The blued screws, the bridges, that mechanical honesty that makes you just pause for a second before winding it. And look, that hand winding isn't for everybody, but I actually enjoy hand winding each morning. It's a small ritual that makes me slow down and really appreciate what I'm putting on my wrist every single day. So the movement looks great through the back, but how does the rest of the watch feel on the wrist? Well, it feels really good. The watch is light, it's balanced, and it's comfortable. But just one little niggle, let's talk about the integrated style bracelet because honestly, I just can't get on with it. Sizing it for my 7 3/4 inch wrist took a little bit of patience, and even then it never quite felt right. But when I switched straight over to the leather straps, that's where the watch really came alive. The removable end links mean that this isn't a typical sports watch where you can't swap straps in and out. You can do with this one, even if we have got a slightly non-standard 21mm lug width. On the white Saffiano leather strap that came with this watch, it completely transforms. The contrast with that red dial is perfect. It looks something like strawberries and cream at Wimbledon on a summer's day. It's refined, it's wearable, and it is genuinely classy. And speaking of that red dial, that's where this watch really earns your attention. Those wave-like contours just catch the light beautifully. We've got applied indices with solid BGW9 blocks on them. They are bright and they're well executed. The hands also have got lume on them, but because they're slightly slimmer, they're actually slightly harder to spot against those heavily lumed green indices. In the dark, for me, the indices overpower the hands, making it a little bit tricky to read the time quickly. Personally, I toned down the lume on the indices, so the hands lead the way when you're looking at it in the dark. Otherwise, the layout is spot on. We've got color matched date window at 6 o'clock. We've got minimal text, crisp printing. It looks and it feels far more expensive than it actually is. And when my wife looked at it and said, "Wow, I like that watch, that looks expensive," you know that something's working well. Now, if that texture looks familiar, you're not wrong. And it's worth mentioning it for a second because Christopher Ward recently launched their own Dune series with a very similar surface pattern. But in his defense, Simon's been developing this design for nearly 2 years, long before that Christopher Ward release came out. And honestly, look, we've seen this before. The big brands spot something interesting and innovative in the smaller microbrand scene, and they move fast. I think Monceau should take it as a compliment, and it means that the independents still are absolutely setting the creative tone in watch design. So, it looks good, it wears well, it's built properly, but what about the value for money? Well, the early bird backers picked this up for around £599 UK. The Kickstarter price was £679, and the regular retail sits at £849. Now, for a Swiss-made hand-wound sports watch, with sapphire on both sides, 200 meters of water resistance, and this level of finishing, that's a really, really strong price. But as promised at the start, Simon's given all of you Microbrand watch viewers a discount code, which you will see on the screen at the moment, but it's also in the descriptions. Look, I don't get a cut here. This is just there for you guys to get a discount if you decide to pick one of these fantastic watches up. So to sum things up, this is a very strong debut. It might not be the phoenix rising from the ashes of Swiss watchmaking just yet, but it's definitely a spark that could turn into something much, much bigger. The fundamentals are solid. We've got thoughtful design, great proportions, proper Swiss build quality, and a dial that absolutely blows me away every time I look at it. This watch is confident without being cocky. It's elegant without being dull, and it feels like the start of something genuinely special. Yes, there are still things to iron out. The lume, for instance, looks fantastic at first, but could be a little bit more practical. And then there's the minute track, which we haven't talked about yet. It's printed right at the edge of the dial, which when you combine that with the domed sapphire, it becomes quite hard to see, especially across the lower half of the dial, unless you twist your wrist into some contorted positions. But look, those are tiny niggles. Beyond those, the important stuff, the stuff that tells you that a watchmaker really cares, that's all there. And look, for a first release, this isn't a cash grab. It's a statement of intent. Simon has clearly learned from all of those years of reviewing other people's work, and you can feel that in every single line, surface, and dimension on this watch. So that's the Monceau Model 1. Would you wear a watch made by a YouTuber? Drop a comment below because I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this review, please do give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and check the description for the full spec list and that discount code. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep supporting the independents. They're the ones that are keeping watchmaking interesting and doing the little things that the bigger brands start to pick up every so often. And with that said, as ever, I hope today that we've introduced you to another micro brand that you're going to want to watch. But until next time, enjoy your watches.